Yes, welcome everyone to Black Knowledge Matters Wednesdays, and we are just ecstatic. I'm greeting you guys. Greeting everyone from Atlanta, Georgia, and I would like to welcome our guests tonight. We have with us Sister Tawhiyda Tupac, and we also have Baba Ken, who's Baba Ken Amen. Here tonight. They're also located here in Atlanta. I've been knowing Sister Tawhiyda for probably at least about 10 or 15 years, and beautiful people. And I'm not going to say much more than that. Welcome to WOSE's Black Knowledge Matters again, and welcome to all the guests and audience that are here this evening. I'm saying tonight, but in California, where Minister Imhotep Akibalon is, he's in Oakland or Sacramento, I believe. But with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Minister Imhotep. Thank you.
All right. Well, why don't you introduce yourselves? Tell us about how you got started, and you have the co-host capability. And so whenever you're ready to share, let's begin.
I say. All right. Well, so thank you for having us, family. We just want to give blessed love to the WOSA family and community. I've listened in to a few of the, virtual engagements you all do. I'm very thankful for you all. I'm very thankful to be here presenting, but I'm just very thankful that you all are pouring into the cup of answers and solutions, because I feel very strongly that it is our duty as the awakened ones, as the awakeners, as the conscious people, to do our fair share to combat some of the negativity that's being done out there by bringing positivity. So I'm Baba Ken Amen, and this is Sister Tawhiyda Tupac, and as usual, we would like to start with a prayer of 7 directions. If you will, please, Tawhiyda.
Yes, indeed. This is the prayer of 7 directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum hunapku eva maya e maho. Ayum hunapku eva maya e maho. Ayum hunapku eva maya e maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
Yes, give praise and thanks, family. Give praise and thanks, Mama Tawhiyda. If you notice in the prayer that she said, family, she talked about the crystal core of the earth. And I find that as a very good place for us to start. We've been commissioned here to begin a process, entitled Alchemy, how to use crystals and gemstones to change your ordinary life into an extraordinary life. But I'm going to change the name to the title. I'm always changing the title. So I also want to introduce a new concept today called inner ordinary. So you've heard of ordinary and of course extraordinary, and you've heard of extraterrestrial. But as of late, as I've grown in understanding what we like to call synchrogalactic yoga, I recognize that it's necessary for us to start thinking about things from within. So with that comes inner ordinary. All right, so we have ordinary, extraordinary, and inner ordinary. And I would like to propose to you all that what we're about to do is make an inner ordinary presentation to you, because I want to submit to you that gemstones, what we call gemstones and crystals, we have a few things in common. Okay, we both store energy, we both refract light and pick up light code transmissions, and we both are energy sources. Okay, In 2012, Hitachi basically took some sheets of quartz crystals and started putting little dots, the 0-1 methodology on there. And an interesting note that I've been thinking about, and I'm thankful to share with such an illustrious group of people. You know, one of our greatest oracle systems, IFA, it's a cowrie system, and it has 256 options or answers or odus or solutions to the problems that mankind faces. And interestingly enough, in 2012, with this invention with Hitachi, actually a little bit before then, but it was crystallized on their behalf. The Pentium chip can move 256 bits of information through one channel. You see, so I don't want to put anyone onto alert, but I just want to say, those of you that have been refraining from doing what's necessary to get this white guy off of our back and to get us back in parity, you've got to realize that it's an even playing field now. So you're not smiting someone who is not capable of understanding what's going on. They've created that 256-bit system. So what we're dealing with is the techno savage. And the only way we're going to deal with them is through magic and spiritual power. And what we've come today to do is talk with you about things that you can do to enhance your life chances, to enhance the capability and the probability that we would do something about what's being done to us. They're projecting chemical warfare on us, and I like to call it now digital or electronic warfare on us. But I'm not worried, you see, because just like they have their 5G, because of what we're going to talk about tonight, I'm going to help everyone on this line and on the call tonight to understand that you actually have what we would call 5D power, all right, 5D. So that's 5-dimensional power. You actually have more than that, but I'm just going to settle on 5 today, because if I could convince everyone that you have 5D capability, then you're going to feel empowered. You're not going to be running around here worrying about what they're doing on 5G, okay? All right, so alchemy, as I said, is our topic. We're talking about moving your ordinary life into an extraordinary life or inner ordinary life. And we're talking about using gemstones to do that. And there's a lot of practical ways to do that. Now, our company is called Mineral Deposit. Mineral Deposit. Now, I'm not sure if our audience knows what a mineral deposit is, but what it is, it's a place. I like to really call it an oasis. A mineral deposit is a place on Earth where you basically you can find like deposits of everything from copper, gold, silver, all your minerals that you need. A water source usually is under the water. And so we call our company Mineral Deposit because we tend to carry all those type of things. Tawhiyda is part manufacture of a super formula that we do. It's a Marinki formula. And it's, could you tell us a little bit about the Marinki formula, sister, and
Yes.
what minerals are in there and why we put that together?
Marinki is a combination of moringa, mama moringa, which is definitely a superfood in the powdered form, the leaves, the bark, and the seeds. I do take 3 seeds a day and eat them, and I have access to seeds. So if anybody wants some, you can come to Mineral Deposit _ on Instagram. The formula is a combination of silica and triphala and moringa powder. And you can add it to your smoothies. You can add it to water or juice and drink it every day. Even if you're fasting, it'll give you the nutrients you need, and you do not have to take in solid food if you're fasting. But it's a formula that my beloved Chief Zakor put together. And in his honor, we still sell it and market it. And it's a very, very good formula for anybody who wants to lose weight and waste. It's a superfood, so it's comparable to spirulina, chlorella, a protein powder, if you have an exercise routine or not. But it really, really helps clean the colon so that your bowels become regular. And that way you're clean from the inside.
Shay, so there's your first life hack now. As she said, she had silica, little diatomaceous earth, you got moringa seed. And see, when you start putting things into powders,
Yes.
You start making it bioavailable for human consumption, for nutrients, for our cells to be nourished. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what this is about, creating a situation where you can nourish your cells. We're talking about cellular understanding, cellular or inner nourishment of self. If you take it down to the cells, coupled with using your mind, your positive thoughts, you're creating a dynamic where you're healing the self inside out. And that's what we're about. She mentioned water. Right here in my hand, as you can see, I have what we call a typical water bottle, but in the bottom of it, you see I have gemstones inside of the bottom of the bottle. You're beginning to see these all around. Not only that, we have some sacred art on here as well. Inside of this bottle, we have what we call sacred water. It's high vibration water put together by Dr. Vincent here in the Atlanta area. I omitted bringing the bottle in here, but I'll bring the bottle to show that to the family as well. But it's not only do we use that type of water, we also take the time to go out to Indian Springs to get sulfurized water all the time. This is the next hack. We want to get as pure a water source as possible, a mineral-rich water source as possible. We've also sourced out a place here in Snellville, a Black-owned spot, where the brother has a magnesium-rich water out there. And I recommend everyone get to a map, find out where mineral deposits are, all right? Because all states have them. I just found out recently that Georgia actually has a state crystal. The crystal, as well as was it Starlight? Mm-hmm. So Starlight is the state crystal. So you know, by adding these crystals to the bottom of this water bottle, you know, all these I have a lot of tiger's eye, some jasper, and some other things inside of there. And I'm telling you now, I just took a sip of superpowers there. Yeah. And I recommend everybody work your way to that. Some of y'all who are into health products, I'm sure y'all remember the company, I think it was Melaleuca. They had a series of magnets that you put not only at the bottom of your feet, but you put those magnets at the bottom of your water bottle as well. And it draws the toxins down and allows you to drink the water minus those toxins. So that's our second hack. Cleanse your water with gemstones and things like that. Did you have a question, Bob?
Yes, Sister Judy has her hand up, and so I'm going to let her take the question. How after Sister Judy's, do you want to just make it interactive, or would you like?
Yeah, that's no problem at all. Okay. I would love that.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead, Judy, and with your question.
Okay. I apologize. I think my hand went up in error, but I am just sitting on the edge of my seat. This is very interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Bob Imhotep, you had a question?
No, I'm you know, I just work here. So you go ahead with your presentation, and glad to see everybody. Yeah, keep moving forward.
Right. So we talked about getting a pure water source as one of our main hacks, and then you know, adding the crystals to it. Looks like Kwame Sunhorse has a question. We'll take that question now, Baba Khan, Kwame.
Thank you, fam, and greetings to the family. And I'm most honored that you are bringing forth this energy tool that you can see in my picture. It's a crystal, and Sister Tawhiyda she and I have been able to go there to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and introduce her to the mines there to be able to mine your own crystals. And what we're looking at, and I'm commending you in creating what you said is Oasis. It's part of the Overground Railroad, which Oasis only stands for our ancestors' spirits in service.
Yes, sir.
And so this is what you're being downloaded, and what you're presenting is creating these things under the Milky Way, and being able to bring down these, to use the transmitters and receivers as what crystals are. The world's largest vein of clear quartz crystals is Hot Springs, Arkansas. And yes, what that is, and what has been stored there in Mount Magazine, is the emerald crystal. And what we're looking at is the mineral people as part of our relatives, because the planet is our mother, and she has the resources in which she gives us to do what you're doing. The plant medicine, those are plant relatives. Then you have the mineral relatives. Then we have the forest is the community. So you're right on point in bringing this forward. And I'm just grateful that, and even everything is in divine order, because today is March the 2nd, Ash Wednesday, but it's also the new moon. And you're planting the seed for the moon This is the Pisces moon, and we will have the Virgo full moon, and she's Earth. And so what you're doing is that you're putting the energy there with the moon as above, so below. You're putting the energy with the above to work and manifest what you're presenting for. So I thank you for that.
Well, give thanks, Baba Kwame. It means so much, more than a little bit, more than a lot to get your endorsement, Baba. You are definitely a true and living, a blessed living ancestor. And as a matter of fact, right now, if you would, Tita, can you show some of the things that you dug up on that expedition?
Yes. This is one of the crystals that we got, if anybody can see that. This is beautiful, it's pointed, and it's one of the things I got.
We can't see her.
Oh, no. Do I need to enlarge my... Can you see it now? Can anybody see it now?
I think the light is reflecting on it, and that's okay. Now it looks better there in Baba Ken's screen. Yes.
Yeah. So that's one of the big crystals that we keep down in the water also. If we have a big crystal jar, you know, that's a dispenser, you can keep that on the countertop. And yeah, that's a beautiful, brilliant crystal. And also as well, we were honored to be on this platform once again and getting the comments from Baba Kwame Sunhorse. This is also one of the first crystals I found when I went there. And it's my skull. It's a crystal skull that we got from Arkansas. I believe it was on the grounds of the Coleman mine. And yes, if you can see the face, the point up here, and then if you turn it to the side, you can see how it looks like a Abdullah Oblongata. So it's actually a crystal skull, and it's quite heavy too.
And you know, Baba Kwame, also the place Hot Springs he's talking about, like he said, family, not only is that the largest crystal vein, it also is the home of the hot springs. This is a very, very, very holy and religious site that indigenous people, we went there to cleanse and purge ourselves of some of the difficulties of living inside of this society that we live in, you see. Now, that leads us to another discussion. Baba Kwame is the #1 leader in sweat lodges. And a sweat lodge does what? It basically heats up the lava rocks, the red rocks and stones. You go into the small enclosed area and you basically, you know, put water on there after you joined in, you pray, make supplications. And this is a cleanse and purge system used to, once again, hack that old you, slough it off and get out of there. One of the I was introduced to this science, you know, since I've been rolling with Mama Tawhiyda, and it's one of the most stressful and de-stressing things I've ever experienced in my life. I've got impurities out of my body that probably needed to have gotten out years ago. But man, what a serious journey that was. But it's a life hack. It's something that you can do to test your limits, to take you to your limits. I don't want to scare anyone, but the real truth of the matter is that with sweat lodges, it's just one of those things where by moving yourself to what we would call, and I can't think of any other way except a near-death experience. And the closer you get to that situation, the more realization comes in place. Unmute that mic and tell it, come on with it, Baba Kwame.
And I thank you for, you know, what you're sharing about the Nipe ceremony. And Nipe means a sacred place. It's the womb. It's the womb of Mother Earth in the ceremony. The part that you're most important is that when you heat up the grandmothers and the grandfathers, they're releasing their energy. They're going to come back to life to give you their energy. And there's an energy exchange. When your pores open, when you begin to sweat, and the waters of life and the memory and consciousness of the water activates the stones. And in that exchange is that their DNA is transmitted with your pores open and you're breathing. You're taking in their energy and they're releasing. They are the oldest record keepers on the planet. Those are the first life forms. And then everything else comes. Water and stones are the first two, because that's how we formulate Mother Earth. And in them being able to make that exchange, the activation of programming your DNA with the history because when we use lava rocks, they're coming out of the core. They're coming from the inner earth, and they've come up in form to transmit and give us this energy. But also, you spoke about the waters of hot springs. And the waters of hot springs is what you said in the beginning in your introduction with silica. 1.5 million gallons every day for thousands of years. There's lakes of pure silica water there. And what we have to look at and being able to get there and tap into it is because they're now harvesting the environment, the land, and taking the mineral rights and digging into this water in order to produce, like Mountain Valley is the water company that produces the water from the hot springs. Because when you go there, you can go downtown and they have spigots and it comes out at 143 degrees out of the earth at 143 degrees. That's why it's called hot springs. And so that water is silica, and with the transformation, because we're carbon-based as humans, silica is the next thing. We're moving from a carbon base to a silica base. This is why we're using technology. And these are the parts of the activation of the mitochondria that we're now shifting in this new era. And so you're presenting the tools to help rebuild and activate these new strands of DNA that are now becoming activated. And so that's why I commend both of you, for what you all are doing.
Well, give thanks, Baba Kwame. So that leads me to the next hack.
Just before you go further, Sister Akanke in our chat had put a question. And Sister Akanke, would you state your question again? You wanted to find out some information about the moringa, I believe.
Oh, I was just wondering if the products they're just available on Instagram. Their Instagram, I think it said Mineral Deposit _ Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get you can like reach out to us directly, and we can get it shipped to you. We have the seeds as well as powder. We have a formula as well as just the raw seeds.
Okay. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
in the chat, can you put your email or something where you can?
Absolutely. We'll put our phone number in contact with you. Are you in the Atlanta area, ma'am?
No, I'm in California.
Okay, no problemo. No problemo.
And we do have spots in California. We have one, oh my goodness, Minister Motep.
Mount Shasta,
where we have experienced the water source there and also crystals there in Mount Shasta. So I'm glad to, just thinking about a fool on the line, we're going to have to take a trip up to Mount Shasta and look for something.
Yes, sir. I would like to prophesy right now that there's going to come a time that a lot of us are going to be taking visits to places like Mount Shasta, hot springs, because crystals have informed me that soon and very soon, we'll be able to like travel freely like we did before and make use of all the splendid natural healing remedies that are here and available to us on the earth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, give praise and thanks for that question, sister. And we'll put that information up and we'll get that to you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving right along, I want to share with the family the next alchemy hack that we've wanted to share with y'all, and we wanted to talk with you about floating. Now, I'm not talking about the hit song by the Floaters from back in the day. I'm talking about an ancient new modality called floating. The way floating works is you're in a small tub probably about like 2 to 3 feet tall, and you are immersed in water with 1,000 pounds of sea salt or saline solution if you must. And because of that 1,000 pounds of sea salt, you actually are floating while you're in there. Not only does it have a miraculous effect on your skin, the best part about it is, as a matter of fact, when Tawhiyda introduced me to sweat, she was talking about that was a return to the womb. And I was like, no, that was being cleansed by the fire of Armageddon, that sweating. But this floating is, I really want to recommend this to the family. Now, not only are you floating in 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt, saline solution, Epsom salt water, you're also in dark. Now they call them sensory deprivation tanks. All right. Now, it's dark in there. They have 60 and 90-minute sessions. I'm going to recommend the 90-minute section because it can be broken down.
But I'm losing power.
It can be broken down into three. Three sections.
46.
Minister,
Okay, there you go. It can be broken down into 3 30-minute sessions, you know, so it can be like a return to the room or 3 trimesters if you must. But you're in the dark and you're in this room temperature where body temperature, Epsom salt float. You don't, I mean, literally because of the salt water in there, you float. For a lot of you that are afraid to swim, just recognize if you're in the ocean, if you relax, fill the lungs up and just lay back, you will actually float, you see? And so what I'm saying is this is the best 30 minutes, 60 or 90 minutes of my life. I actually, in my last float, I actually brought the plant sisters into the float with me. And I vibed on what we would like to call psychedelic mushrooms and went into the float. And I returned to the womb. When I came out of there, all I could do, when I do them, I usually do a recording going in on my phone. But that was the best experience I've had in a while. I feel like I totally reset myself. I dropped a lot of burdens. I went back to the womb. It was very, very, very pleasant for me. My skin felt, revitalized. My mind most certainly was revitalized. And I really recommend this. Now they have 2 different ways you can do that. You have the pods, which are smaller little compartments like an egg. And then you have the pool. I'm 6'6", so I can't fit in the pods. I'm a little claustrophobic anyway. So I did the tub. And the tub for me is the one I swam around. I mean, I had such a ball. And when I came out of there, I felt like I had dropped a 1,000-pound backpack off of my back during this experience. And this is one of the best experiences. And I wanted, if you would, Tawhiyda, could you share? She did the pod with her little self. And so could you share, sister, what it was like for you inside of that pod and the float experience?
Yes. The float experience was very, very, very relaxing to me. Because I get massages and things like that. I really pamper myself and do a whole lot of self-loving like that. But this was really, really, really different because you're in total darkness. So you're able to really, really go within. I had no fear of the darkness. I didn't feel claustrophobic at all. But the fact that you're in all this salt, your body starts to get really, really slick and shiny, like a mermaid or a fish or a seal. And it was really, really, really healing, very, very, very deeply relaxing, similar to emerging from a sweat lodge. When you emerge from a sweat lodge or the anipe, you're at one with everything. You can feel the seasons. You can feel the celestial body. So doing the deprivation tank or the float is highly recommended for the stress levels that we're under living in America. You know, it is something that you can do. There's probably one in a city near you. We went to here in Atlanta, downtown Decatur at Float, Atlanta, 111 Claremont. And it was very, very, very relaxing. So with me, I cried, I laughed. You go through so many emotions in that. You know, time kind of stands still. You just kind of forget and you unplug because you're in that saline solution again, like being in your mother's womb. So you can actually go through a rebirth, an intentional rebirth at the time as well. So it's wonderful. And anybody can reach out to me too, because I have, you know, a couple extra slots. So I put my phone number there and my email. So if you're interested, just let me know. I can give you like a little promo code or something.
I see a hand by Samantha Robertson, but before you address her, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with John Lilly, who came up with the concept of the isolation tank. It's where that movie Altered States began, and you know, being in there, you're in an isolation tank. You're just like floating like the dolphins would. And John Lilly was actually able to develop a way to quantitatively communicate with dolphins in this way. And I just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know if you were aware of that or not. All right. Go ahead, Sister Samantha. You have to take yourself off mute, though.
Okay. I was trying.
All right.
Hi, everybody. So what I was gonna say was that the floating in the basically the salt water or the Dead Sea salt. I don't know if y'all ever been to Jerusalem. So I went to Jerusalem and the Dead Sea. So they kind of tell you when you get there, you know, don't put your head under the water. And I really didn't understand why. Well, the reason why is because, well, the Dead Sea is because there's nothing living in the Dead Sea. The salt content is so like high that nothing can live in there. And so when you get into the Dead Sea, you float. So that's what it reminds me of, what y'all are talking about, because you won't go under. And like the mud and the water, it makes your skin feel so different. It's good for, and plus I'm a herbologist, so it's good for people that have skin conditions and everything, like she was saying, like especially women. It's good for us because of our skin and how quickly our cells basically die. So it's really good for that. And I really do, I want to try it. And I think I'm going to try it in that form, since I've had the like actual form. I want to try it in that form because I think that would be very beneficial. So thank y'all for sharing that.
Give praise and thanks for that. Someone in the chat asked us about the availability of salts through us. We can get you some, but that's a very an abundant, simple thing. It's one of those things that's in abundance somewhere around us. You know, you can't go wrong with the Epsom salts. You can get them from anywhere, your Family Dollar, everywhere. They're all around. So, but if you having problems, get it though. Yes, we'd be glad to like get you a couple of pounds of it. Actually, whoever asked that question, we must be first cousins, because I've been wondering how much would I have to put in the tub to be able to float myself at the house. So we've gone over silica. Thank you, Barbara Kwame, for what you said with the silica. We just talked about the benefits of salt and floating. Okay, we talked about cleansing by fire. And next, I want to talk with you about another mineral called clay. Clay, very simple clay. It's all around. Some of y'all, you know, throw your hands in the air if you come from one of those Southern families where, you know, one of the elders or one of the healers in the family would say, well, all you just got to do is get a little clay in that water, you know, to get you healed. Well, we also sell a clay put together by Mama Dama. We have it for topical use as well as internal use. And I'll let the grand master of the clays, you know, give us a little information about how to use the clays and why to use the clays.
Yes, indeed, adamantly. We are clay people and crystal people, and crystal keepers, we all are. So clay is one of those things that your body kind of craves if you're deficient in minerals. People know about pica. I think the women of the South used to eat the red clay or the white clay, and they would eat it until they got satisfied. So what I have a cosmetic clay, which is a red clay from the earth that you can smooth on your skin to really bring out your rosy color. It closes your pores and it gives you a nice radiant skin tone. And then I have the powder for internal use, which is a little stronger. You can use that for douching, for enemas, as well as bathing in. And clay is so nice. If you have a little bug, if you feel yourself getting sick, you want to take this clay because you can actually feel the magnetic attraction that is going to pull the toxins to one area so it could be flushed out. So your Mama Earth is working on our behold all the time. So you can use the clay as a beautification agent on your skin topically and internally to cleanse parasites and eggs, and also as well cleaning out your inside so that you'll be able to absorb all the minerals and nutrients from your food and get rid of all the gunk, the layers and layers. So around this time, heading into the spring is an awesome time to do that inner cleanse. It's definitely inner cleansing time as we get closer to the spring equinox. And also you can get that at Mineral Deposits, or give me a call for your jars of topical clay, which is the red clay that you can paint the sigils on your face. I remember giving my daughter a baby shower before her first child. And one of the exercises or rituals we did, that we painted love symbols and hearts and Adinkra symbols on her belly. So those things you can do on your face and to sleep overnight with it on, or go out in the sun, or just a couple hours before you go out. You know, clay can be used daily, and internally you can take a swig of it every day, in the morning and at night, to really get a clean evacuation.
Mr. Tawhiyda, could you please explain, you used a term that everybody may not be familiar with, and that is sigils. And then after you answer that question, Brother Kwame has his hand raised. Go ahead.
Sigils are symbols that you can make, like you can do a statement or affirmation and break it down to one symbol. And you do it by crossing out all of your vowels and then connecting the non-vowels and making a symbol. So your symbol can maybe the dollar sign, like with the S and the lines, whatever you want to bring into your space, or the things that you want to manifest, you can paint them on your face. Like, you know, we would hear that our indigenous brothers and sisters would have war paint. So you could do peace paint, you could do prosperity paint, you could do love paint. Whatever your intention is, you can paint that on your face. Sigils. I can put in the chat how to spell it, and you can look it up, and you can do your own sigils. Sigils can be done invisible in the air. You can do them on your walls with essential oils. Some people get sigils as tattoos, because only you know what the sigil means. You know, it's not something that you can readily read, but you crunch it down to a symbol, you implant your intention in it, and it brings about the manifestation that you want to see. So sigils are good tools. And I'm sure that Adinkra symbols are sigils as well.
Ashe, not only Adinkra symbols, also Vebes, coming out of the Voodoo tradition, as well as what you said. But I like to make it, when I see the word sigil, I see signal and I see L. I see a connection with the Almighty, with the Elohim, with the highest extraterrestrial part of yourself, or one of the extraterrestrial part of yourselves. You see, so a sigil is something that reaches down into what we like to call the motif of understanding, or this is where this concept of inner standing and inner ordinary that I'm talking about. We're trying to move to where we're tapping into understanding and communing with our internal person, and a sigil does just that. The reason our ancient ancestors in Kemet chose to pictograph or hieroglyphics is because it's undeniable to receive the message at that point. I'll yield the mic at this point for Baba Kwame to ask a question in order to bring further clarity to this topic we're talking about. Come on, Baba Kwame.
And thank us. And thank Tawhiyda for, you know, bringing forth the clay and Adama. But you're talking about crystals. Crystals forms in a clay. When we go and dig crystals, we look for what's called peanut butter. It's a real rich and mineral deposit clay that the crystal grows in, because it grows from the frequency of the earth and the frequency of what's coming from above. And they formulate what's called sacred geometry. And what you're talking about, that now there's a mine there called Advent in Hot Springs next to Ron Coleman's. And they have crystals that are coming out of the earth with sigils, with the water formed inside the crystal and the symbols in the crystal, because the language of transmission is through vibration. And so what we have is the first language was basically symbols and sigils. And when you were talking about Kemet, is the Medu Neter, It's the word of God. That the hieroglyphs was formed by whatever that French person was that deciphered our language. Champlain, yeah. But what we're looking at when you're talking about crystals and the part of the body needing the mineral content is what we got elders on here, so they remember Argo starch. And the women used to eat Argo starch, especially when they were carrying children at times, and then eating that clay is because the body needs it, because in us growing food, but what we have to understand is, I don't know how many people have heard of the wood wide web. The wood wide web is the first internet, because the trees are the roots that intertwine into the earth that had the first internet. And so they all communicated. And these are the frequencies in which we understand that helps to formate that language of earth and the language of what's above, because everything resonates in frequency. And that's why music, that's why John Coltrane, you know, when he created the equinox, was because he understood the science of the astrology, the astronomy, and the music, and they're all symbolically synchronized. That the tones in music was what he was able to form his equinox, to form his different musics, is the vibration being able. And so crystals are that, because this is what they do. This is where our first radios was used, the crystal and a catgut. When it rolled across it like a quartz watch, it vibrates, and then you make a receiver that can transmit and receive that vibration. And so we're crystalline people. We're moving from a carbon-based to a crystalline being. We're moving from a Homo sapien to a Homo spiritus. This is the new evolution of our 26,000 year. We're at the beginning of this new journey. And it's very important, because we're having a new alignment. And when you're talking about the waters, water holds the memory and consciousness. And they're talking about the great climate change, that the Arctic is melting and the Antarctic is melting. No, that's by design, because the millions of years that it was frozen, it's holding the memory and consciousness that it's now releasing, that we need for this new evolution. And so what you're doing with the water and the crystals, but you have to be careful of the certain crystals you put in water. Certain crystals can release toxins, and you have to be mindful of certain crystals. That's why we use clear quartz crystal, because it is the most powerful. It's the mother of crystals. And so what you have to begin to do in studying is like Ross Ben, and Tawhiyda is familiar with Ross Ben. Rock of Ages anew, and he did the new book he wrote is 5G 101, right? And 5G 101 gives you the protection that you going out into this EMFs, and you going out into this energy in your urban areas. You need the breastplate. You need the shield of the crystals to help guard you against this frequency attack. And so when you begin to understand how to use the tools that the mother gives us in order to protect us, as our ancestors once did in Atlantis, Mu, and Lemuria, you'll be able to withstand the transformation that this planet is getting ready to go through as we go, like you said, to 5D, because you need protection from the AI. The AI is defended. Our protection is the DI. The divine intelligence can overpower the artificial intelligence. That's all I had to share.
Give thanks, Baba Kwame.
Before you proceed, I would suggest that everyone look up, don't do it now while we're in the program, but look up sigils. Do a search on sigils. I think it's spelled S-I-G-I-L. Does that sound correct? Yes. Sigils. Yes. And the Medu Necher, or the Suf language, is a sigil, because when you do sigils, you write a word out, and then you take the vowels out, and that's exactly what you have when you're looking at the Medu Neter. There are a bunch of consonants run together, and so each phrase is a sigil. So anyway, just wanted to pass that along.
Could I share a book that if anybody can see this? Sigils and Symbols.
Albert
and what
Church?
it is,
Wow.
This is who it's by.
Wow.
And what you can do with this, it has all of it, and how to use it, what you use it for, what are the powers of the vibration when you draw them. Why do you think that the cartouche, when you wrote the Medu Neter and the cartouche that our ancestors made, is that the name is surrounded by the sun. And if you look at something that's by design and you look at what they have done with the cartouche, our phones are shaped in the same way as the cartouche. The cartouche is just a little smaller and elongated, but this is the same pattern.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. Brother Ken, please proceed.
That's a great point, Baba Kwame. And I wanted to put everyone at ease too in recognizing that everything that they're creating with these devices are simply an external expression of our internal capabilities. Again, everything they're creating in the artificial world is actually an extroverted example of all the powers that we have within. You see, and we want to keep that in mind. Most of y'all out there, most of y'all are probably, familiar with all this stuff, and we recognize that we're preaching and teaching to the choir, and what we're doing, as Baba Kwame said, is we're activating ourselves to that Homo spiritus level, and so that led me into producing, things like the Ankh and amulets. Here's one of the designs that I made here. This is a Ankh, and I like mine to look like the mother, so you can see the hips on there. And this one here, I've empowered it with an amethyst. And I want to move now into different things that you can do to enhance your meditation experiences and all, with the help of Tawhiyda. So of course you can wear the crystals, you can put them on, necklaces and things, and, put the drops on and put them. But a lot of times you're putting things on a certain meridian when you do that way, which is, your heart chakra, but there's more to it. So we got you with the rings. You can decide, made rings. And when you see the spiral in the metal this way, what it's doing is bringing that energy into a centrifugal area. So now this particular piece here is made of what they call nickel silver, which is a very prominent metal. But as I research these metals, this still, despite that color, it's still majority copper. It's still about 70-80% copper, then a little bit of bronze and some other metal and nickel in there. So I bring that up to make a point to you that as we move from 3D to 5D, one of the things we're going to have to get rid of is this color illness that we have. You got people that are so-called light skinned and want to be darker, people that's dark skinned and want to be lighter. We need to let all that go. This is the point I'm making, is that this is majority copper. Everyone on the planet Earth is copper at the core, crystal at the core, and these tones that we have are really a reflection of the dire state that we're in. For all my people that's loving and relishing all this brown and tan that we have, I'd like you to go to one of the most important sigils. If you look at Asar, not Osiris, but Asar, and the lead deity, if you must, or the God man in the Kemetic pantheon, or God man or God woman, because that's another point we should imagine. The woman is allowed to view herself with the white crown as well. But take note that he's green on there, and green is the color of chlorophyll and plants. And I don't want to alarm anyone, but I want everyone to just posit the idea that the colors brown and tan that we find ourselves in, that's the color of a plant when it's in bad shape, like it's about to die. So I'm saying, think about, in some of your meditations, imagining yourself as green, as the color of dark green, chlorophyll, like a blue-green type color, because I really feel that right now we're living out a pretty rough extension right now. And I believe that the healthier you get, the closer you get to some hue of green, okay? Now, if you look at your veins on your arms and things like that, you can see that green up under there. And I really think that we're supposed to get to that, to be striving to get back to that. So go green, everybody, go green. All right, think green. And let's start getting a lot more green plants into your food. Tawhiyda was sharing me that a couple of times with the soups and stews and things that she's made. She's even added crystals in the pot, you see? So we got to start using these things in all kind of ways. Here's an example of another product we have. We also purveyors of like wands. This one here has turkey feathers on it. We got a crystal on there, and we have it wrapped in brass. Once again, majority copper underneath there. But, you know, we got a crystal attached, and we use that to, you know, feather ourselves and, you know, push energy around and all. This is the return of the magic wand. These are all tools that you can make yourself, have made by someone, and just really get yourself, you know, cleansed and purged and creative in, you know, this transfer of from you know, up to the 5 to homo spiritus, or to 5D existence. Everyone here has the capacity here to do it, and that's what we're suggesting that you do. So last, we want to end this presentation. We want to go down.
Hold tight, brethren, before you end. We're going to 6:30. I don't know if you are aware. So we still have a little bit more time. We have a hand up, Sister Saraswati. Debbie Lewis has her question, and go ahead, Debbie.
So I have deep concerns about EMF, and you know, like you turn on your phone and you can see your neighbor's internet, wireless internet. So these frequencies are everywhere. They're all pervasive. You know, I keep something that I carry that has my phone in it that doesn't let them be, it's, you know, so they can't detect my phone or read anything on my phone, just like my wallet or driver's license. But that is so minuscule when you think about the true EMF frequency that is everywhere that we have to deal with. And so I felt like you made like a quick reference to something that helps with EMF. And I would just like you to just, if you could elaborate on that.
Okay. Okay, wait a minute.
Okay. All right. Did you get my question? Now I can't hear anything.
We can't hear you, Ken. I'm not sure why.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, so one of the most popular modern art forms now is Orgonite. And Orgonite are an epoxy that are filled with a lot of gemstones. Specifically, shungite is the main one that they're using in these things now. You know, a lot of times it gets crushed into powders and stuff like that. They use a little tourmaline and and other materials and other crystals. And what they do is not totally block it, but they actually reduce the harmful effects, you know, of it. Here in town, as a matter of fact, on the line is Indulgent Art. Is Brother Balance or Tiffany on the line right now? Are you still with us, Tiffany or Balance? Yeah, we have some incredible Orgonite and artists online right now. They were on in the beginning. I'm going down to see if they're still here because I would love for them to chime in on that. They make some beautiful, not only do they make Orgonite things to protect your phone, to protect you from your phone, they also make jewelry, furniture with it. Oh, I hate that. I'm going down the line here. I can't see.
Anyway, as you're waiting, here's an example of Orgonite here. Debbie, excuse me, Saraswati.
There you go, Baba. Thank you so much. So that particular one that he put up, family, on the screen, Rose doing an incredible job of remediating as much as possible this energy. But at the same time, I want to have everyone gather your courage and strength, because remember this: a little bit of something in the right phase is medicine. Too much is poison. So a lot of what's going on, we have to keep in mind that, yes, there's a lot of toxicity in the air and they're doing a lot of things, but if you believe in as above, so below, if you can go back to what I said in the beginning of the presentation, we have to take into account that everything that they do brings out the best in you. Everyone has heard the saying, the more pressure you put on coal comes forth a diamond. Well, this is more exactly how we need to approach the times that we're living in right now. Do not be afraid. No weapon, legislation, or virus formed against you shall prosper. We're the galactic ones. We're talking about galactivating ourselves, not activating, galactivating ourselves. The more you tap into understanding the source of your beginning and the eternal source of power inside of you, you understand that we've been designed and we are being the architects of all the destinies taking place. I am the source of manifest destiny. They ain't got nothing coming. They ain't got nothing coming. They stuff is just, you know, it's child's play if you must. And so we must put on our God and Goddess pants, our God and Goddess suits, and understand that you are galactivated just in time, and your capability far exceeds anything they can throw at you. Once again, no weapon, legislation, or virus formed against I and I shall prosper. I know this to be the case. I've spoken into existence. And so just when you come across information that you, to protect yourself, to protect yourself, then go ahead and do that. When you come across information, if you have an idea to produce something to help protect yourself, then create that. You know, almost all the things I make, you know, are designed to help you to deal with the situation that we're dealing with here. These are first eye rings, or, you know, rings designed to help, you know, help you to understand that you can arm yourself and put yourself in position to be healed from these things. I make necklace drops, you know what I'm saying? Gemstone enhanced, onks, you see? You know, you hanging these around you. Majority of protection starts in the mind, okay? Being affected by someone is determined by your level of belief in it. And all I'm doing today, hopefully, is just reminding you that we've always used things for fertility, protection, and all. And there's more to it than just protection, family. There's also enhancement. And it's just so many different ways. I mean, right down to it's a lot of our people are like kind of obsessed even right now with money. You see what I'm saying? So what do? We went and created amulets with, like, you know, like these coins here are from Cuba, you know? So I think that's a 10 or no 25 peso coin from Cuba. Right here I have, you know, a necklace, silver necklace empowered with a medallion that has Ethiopian money on each side of it. You know, there's the blessed lion. Yeah, over that way, there we go. So you see, there's the 25 beer and then the 50 beer. You see? So, you know, least you forget, family, they're not doing anything spectacular. You got your boy Bezos, all these people, they going across all these, you know, so-called bragging about their money, but nobody still has topped Mansa Musa as far as real life worth. These people are dealing with fiat currency and, you know, trickery and lies about what they have. To this day, no one has topped Mansa Musa as far as wealth, and no one most certainly has not touched him as far as generosity with his wealth. So what if somebody hoards a whole bunch of like fiat currency and all? The story of Mansa Musa is one of him spreading his wealth. He disrupted economies all across to East Africa and back. You see, so our history is replete with winning. Our bodies are fortified with all the tools that we need to succeed despite everything that they throw at us. And so I'm just urging everyone to remove doubt, worry, and fear, and the word WANT and lack vibration from your being. And the best way to do that is by enhancing your meditation processes. So everyone on here has heard of chakras. And so, you know, at the top of you, you know, this crown chakra is purple. So if you want to like enhance your meditations, get you some amethyst. You know, this is an amethyst piece right here, and use that, you know, and place that on top of the head, you know, in your meditation. So you just holding it there. Sometimes you can balance them onto your head. You know, it's best to get raw ones. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm sure, I hope Baba Kwame gets his trips fired up again soon. I love you out there, but this is a raw amethyst right here. Once again, I prefer these raw ones because they don't have all the coatings that Baba Kwame was warning us about on there. It's raw, but once again, on top of the head, you know what I'm saying? Magnifying the chakra. You got your, you know, crystal spirits here. Crystals help to bring about clarity, protection, and all. You know, that one is enhanced like in the front of the head, you know, at the third eye. You see what I'm saying? Just adding crystals to them, having them in your hand while you do your meditation work. You know what I'm saying? Here's a piece of raw tiger's eye here. You see? None of that coating and all that, you know? And the reason I'm showing you these is because you want to be able to identify these things when you are out there. This is what it's going to look like. It's not going to be all polished at first, you see? You're gonna, you know, you can see the difference in them right there. So I'm urging everyone to go back into that little kid in you that's a rockhound. You know, this tiger's eye is good for, you know, placing on a solar plexus area. It's good for helping you in your meditations and things concerning your willpower, your fortitude, and things like that. You know, when you're online, they're telling you things like, oh, you got to be careful saying of what gemstones do. You got to be careful about them having healing properties and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not worried about any of that. We also make amethyst like this, where we've empowered this piece with a third eye on top of there. So that's to know that's Meta Nature's talking about wisdom, and we have it empowered with a crystal on there, wrapped in copper. You know, you can have that put on a chain. You see the bracelet that I'm wearing right here. This one here has a centavos. This is an ancient old Mexican coin on here. I'll show you that one up close. You see? Our heritage and who we are, it's all in there. All these things are available on Mineral Deposit. Contact Tawhiyda and I. We specialize in doing custom work. You know, that's a nice bracelet there. You know, Tiger's Eye. Interesting thing about Tiger's Eye family, man, they Tiger's Eye is I was reading in I forgot what book, but Tiger's Eye, while we all think we doing something wearing it in bracelets and little necklaces and stuff, I don't know how to fact check this, but I was told in one of the books that Tiger's Eye is one of the minerals that was crushed into powder, and our ancestors used that for an enema. Ouch. I can see the coffee, but I don't know about the Tiger's Eye. And another thing I wanted to point out too about Tiger's Eye, and I'd like a rockhound to correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look at these things, what Tiger Eye is, look like it's on the way to petrified wood. See, we have to understand, we've all heard that that coal compressed leads to diamond, but I recently discovered that the source of coal is fern. There was a time, according to some of the so-called researchers and all, that the planet Earth was replete with fern, and some sort of a cataclysmic shift took place, and a lot of that fern was dumped underneath the Earth, and that turned into black ash and then coal, and then from further Earth pressure turned into crystallized diamonds. So basically what I'm talking about here is the evolution of things, okay? The evolution of things. Don't forget what we said at the top. This planet we're on has a crystal core at the base. And what I'm asking you to do is in your meditations now, let's take it to the next level and imagine that you are activating your crystal core, your base. This is going to remove all the doubts and things that you have about your capability. Turn off the news. Don't be confirmed with this view.
Can I interject here, Brother Ken?
Yes, sir. Come on with it, Baba.
And thank you for your question, Sister Debbie. And that is, scientists have found piezoelectric microcrystals inside the pineal gland. So even in, you know, so when you talk about chakras, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipurika, Anahata, Agna, the Agna has crystals in that gland. So we're we're crystallized beings. And Dr. Sebi kind of steered us away. So Dr. Richard King told us about melanin, and melanin is a powerful chemical, but the real thing is carbon. You know, even in science fiction, they talk about carbon-based units, and that's what we are. We're carbon-based units.
Absolutely.
Brother Kwame had his hand up earlier. I don't know if he still has a question.
Yes, I was just attempting to answer the sister when she was talking about protection of the EMFs. And that's why I was suggesting Ross Ben 5G 101, because what Ross has done is he's done extensive research in looking at the protective stones and what my brother's doing, and being able to put them with silver, copper, and the other different metals that enhances it. Because if we overstand something that, you know, as an elder, I know my sisters, my mother and nieces, and even my daughters, when they were born, the first thing you did was you had their ears pierced with 14 karat gold posts, is because gold is one of the highest receivers of frequency. And so what is happening in that little girl, when she's hearing, she's picking up the highest frequencies. And to develop her as a girl into a woman, all of that programming is done through that gold frequency. And if you look at certain cultures, that they adorn their children with gold, because they're in that frequency. Because from the womb to reaching adolescence, a child hears a frequency that we lose when we become adolescents, but it's part of the frequency that will help to develop the program in their neural net. But this is a good book here, the Book of Stones. And the Book of Stones gives a excellent, each crystal is listed here, and it tells you its spiritual properties, its mineral properties, and the things in which it works with, and the certain parts of the body. And the other part, when you were talking about minerals, and I know you've mostly seen this one.
Oh, that's the one. Oh,
Yes, indeed, Barbara Palmer. Give thanks, Barbara.
wow, yes.
Yes, because you have to understand your mineral content in 9 months in the womb. And then after you come out of the womb, that means is your body is needing 3 minerals that are important for your completion, and being able to understand that lack of mineral. And when you were talking about symbols, I showed you one book, but this is the Native Americans book, because Chief like Golden Eagle was able to, he was the keeper. He just dropped his robe. He was my Sundance chief out there in South Dakota. And he had 52,000 years of star knowledge. And there are star knowledge and symbols that we have to understand, that have the laws of the universal laws, the spiritual laws, and the cosmic laws. They are written in symbols. And being able to understand, to read, it's like these symbols on here. Being able to read these, and this one in the middle here is an Egyptian, and it deals with the Egyptian laws and spiritual. And so we of indigenous people here on Turtle Island, just as the ancestors on the continent, were able to interact, just as the Mayans and the Incas. All the indigenous people on the planet basically had a connection to Inamaka, Mother Earth, and to the heavens. And what we're having to do is that we're reactivating ourselves, because the cosmic consciousness is now enhancing what you're giving us tools to do in order to build the body's frequencies, to build us back up to our higher selves. That's why I say we're moving from a Homo sapien to a Homo spiritus. And the brother was correct about the crystals and the pineal. But you have crystals in the skull and in the hair, because our 9 ether hair. This is why we've gone back to locking, and that these
How
are
are you?
antennas
I'm
for
good.
transmission and receiving. But
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah.
I'll
Need to have a cup like that in my hand. Where you get that coffee from?
This is actually a tea. I got this from Amazilla.
Ah,
Yep.
all right, yeah.
You here for the meet and greet?
Yeah, it started.
Sister,
Oh,
Sis-
that's 6:14, huh?
Sister
Wow,
Darnisha, can
thought
you
I was early.
put yourself
Security
up?
work, huh?
No, I ain't securing anything. I just take the lazy. I'm the program director.
Okay.
Sorry about that. All right. I just have one more question, and that is, can people hear me? Can you hear me? All right. So Ross Ben, when he was here, we'll say Sacramento, he had written Rock of Ages. He hadn't written the other book that has been referred to. But could someone just elaborate? We have about 14 minutes left. If people want to go over, we'll do that. But officially, we have 14 minutes left. This is Labradite. Can somebody expound on Labradite, if you would? You're muted, Ken. I can't hear you.
Was that one shaped in a heart?
This one is shaped in a heart, but it's just Labradite.
Right,
Oh,
right.
so beautiful.
Okay, so there's two things going on with that. First of all, it's Labradite, and the second of all, it's in the shape of a heart. Okay, so Labradite, the color is green, so it's giving you strength in that heart chakra area. Because if it's a heart, and one of our best Adinkra symbols is called the Akoma, which is a symbol of the heart. So that particular stone, and the methodology that we use here with mineral deposit is combining the chakra color and the stone, together. So Labradite, when you read about it, they'll say that it improves and increases your psychic energy and things like that. But what I'm saying is it improves the psychic energy of your heart because of the shape that it's in. And interestingly enough, a lot of times when you see that heart shape, that's a universal symbol for the heart. How many of y'all have noticed on the steel bars with people that live in communities where there's steel bars in there, you see the heart in metal on there? Yeah. Okay, this is proof of well, first of all, we already have more proof than we need called blacksmiths. Okay, but that symbol was put on there as a sign, if you must, to know that our the Adinkra is not gone. It has not left us. It's just a sign and a symbol. But that heart is a universal thing. So that Labradite is going to increase the psychic power of your heart. I would also like to add, and I would love for Baba Kwame to fill in the rest of this statement I'm about to make here. The heart actually pushes more BTUs or energy than the brain. From one of my research is telling me that it pushes 60% more energy than even the brain. Okay, and it's even more powerful than the vagus nerve. So what I'm saying though is that by sigil based, by you putting that heart together along with the symbol, the Labradite and stone, with that symbol, you're inculcating a strong, powerful light code transmission into your mind, and you're giving your heart the ability and capability to operate like the brain, which it really is, to your body, and you move it. It's giving you psychic power in a heartfelt way, with that stone. Baba Kwame, if you could please fill in that, and I think Tawhiyda wanted to touch that too as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and I thank you for that part. And Labradorite, that's what it's called. But what you're talking about when you said about, I'll take the last part first. At the heart is 550 megahertz higher than the human brain. The heart knows before the brain. You can go on Global Consciousness. It's a website. And what they do is they have seismographs around the planet. They knew on 9/10 that their charts, their Richters start going off the chart, and they were wondering what was going on. The people on the planet knew that the next day 9/11 happened, but they knew instinctively that there was something getting ready to be major to happen, And this is why the heart knows, because the heart is the seat of the will. The thing in which it is that the brain, even in our ancient way, the heart was taken out and put on the scale, not the brain. The brain was pulled through the nose and mummified the body. This is how important the brain is that it's for mummification, it's for brain tanning. The heart is the seat of the will, but the Labradorite, what you're pertaining to, is that you're correct, and what it deals with is the energy, but it's also a protection, and it's also a transmitting. And green and all minerals are basically colors of the chakras. You have citrine, which is yellow. You have, jasper is red. You have purple, which is the crown, which you were talking about, amethyst. And so the mother of all of it is the clear, is the crystal, the clear quartz crystal, because there's certain minerals that changes the color and the frequencies with that. And so in being able to understand how to use those tools, because to go into the temple of the Holy of the Holies, you had to have a 12-stone breastplate. And so in understanding those stones, each one has what we have. We talk about 7 chakras, but they're really 13. There are 13 chakras that goes through this body, and the 3 above you and the 4 above you. And so what we're looking at is how to use these tools. These are nothing but tools, because we're related, Mitakiyoyase, which is a word that says all my relations. I am related to everything. Everything on this planet I am connected to. And what I'm learning to do is to remember how to reconnect to my higher self, because we are the youngest beings on the planet. Everything was made before us. In the 6th day, in the 5 days, everything was created, and man was made last. We came on last. And so all of our relatives are there to help us, and especially the mineral people, because they are the ones who transmit and receive the frequencies of 7.82, the Schumann frequency. But they also look at what we saw in Dr. Emoto, in saying that water, when you put a certain word on it or you give a certain frequency, it will create a certain shape. And what we're doing is that being water, we have to learn to do what we talk about. We have friendships, relationships, but the brain is 80% water. You got to learn how to navigate through your neural net. Your ship is you. You are the captain of your ship. And you have to learn how to navigate through your body, because your body is water. And being able to understand how, like the brother was saying, if there's no enemy within you, your enemy outside of you cannot harm you. And that's the understanding of what we're now reawakening, reconnecting, having a reset. And we are to do what evolution says. And if you took the word evolution and you put it in a mirror, it says, know it you love. We are love. And we have to understand how to love ourselves.
Yeah, thanks, Baba Kwame. As usual, Tawhiyda.
I wanted to share with everybody the importance of really having an intimate relationship with your crystals, putting them in your pillow, under your pillow. You know, I remember when I went on a crystal dig, I was finding crystals and I was putting them in my hair, just sticking them in my braids and things like that. So crystals like to be interactive. They have energy to exude and radiate toward us. And they have information, stored information that we can use daily. So I see waist beads being used again to heal the womb, to bring back that divine feminine energy, depending on the color. You know, if you're barren, maybe some of the crystals can make you fertile again. But the whole practice of wearing a waist bead was an indication. The crystals would help heal your sexual organs. And they would also, if you had a prolapsed uterus, anything in the core area could be healed, and you can program them too. You can make your own But the importance of really picking a crystal that picks you and getting the information from the crystal, and also getting some of the books that we put in the chat is wonderful too. Yoni eggs are being used now to tighten the uterus walls. Those can be inserted, and you can use jasper, clear quartz, obsidian, or jade for those, and those help tighten the womb after childbirth, or help shorten the monthly cycle when done with breathing exercises. So those are other things that you can use internally or on the body. But keeping crystals in the car. Black tourmaline is very good to keep in the car, because one time I was speeding and I was stopped by the police, and the crystal really, really, really helped me, right? Because I was speeding and I didn't have a seatbelt on. So I didn't get a ticket. I did not get a ticket. So certain crystals will really, really, really help protect you, in your time of need. So sleeping with them, carrying them, wearing them, adorning them is
absolutely. I wanted to add to that protection with the crystals. My story is I was coming from St. Louis down to New Orleans, and I was actually riding kind of high because I just watched both of my sons, and I enjoyed their basketball games, and I was returning down to New Orleans. I was going through Jackson, Mississippi, and I usually get off on exit 100 to go to the quote unquote Whole Foods. I like to call it whole paycheck. And a police officer pulled me over right just a little bit before the exit. And so at the time I had just got a brand new medicine wheel tarot deck. And so I pulled the cards out, and I shuffled them a little bit, and I pulled the card, and the card was a whale card, and I put it right on the dash and everything. And the guy, when he come up, he saw me about it. I was putting my hands on the dash. He said, "What was that you put up there?" And I said, "I was putting a tarot card up there, medicine wheel card." And he said, "Oh yeah, what'd you pull?" And I said, "I pulled the whale card." He said, "What do you think that means?" I said, "You probably think you got a whale or something like that, but you do. I'm actually more of a dolphin. I'm a Pisces in my zodiac, but I'm the yellow spectral human with my old resonance." But anyway, so I said, "But I know with my hair, you got a lot of ideas in your mind. So why don't we just go ahead and get the search initiated? If you don't mind, I'm gonna use my phone and record you, and we can go and get this done, because you can't steal my joy, man. I'm riding high, man. I got to get this rental car turned in." So he said, "Well, I'm gonna take you up on that." So I opened up the trunk, and behold, I had all my little crystals and everything back there. I had my stuff all organized. I'm a professional marketeer and vendor. So the guy's looking at my crystals and everything. He forgets that he's like a bonehead, cracker cop. And the guy ends up spending about $75 with me on the side of the road, getting some things for his wife. And I ended the conversation by suggesting that he should get a few things for himself to help hone in on the criminals, as opposed to people that are just trying to go to and fro. And I told him that there was a couple of universities right around from me, Millsaps University. If he was trying to find a kid involved with drugs, he could go right over to that white university and get all he wanted. But the point I'm getting at, y'all, is that I feel so protected. I've had so much good fortune and what we call luck in my life just from carrying these things on me. And I recommend that everyone, I wanted to add to what she said, everyone, you should get you what we call a juju bag. Go ahead and take your time. If you need to get it from me, just contact us. I can get you one. I'm going to put one of all the different stones in there. I'm going to put a amethyst. I'm going to put a clear quartz. I'm going to put a citrine. I'm going to put a lapis lazuli or a sodalite on there. I'm going to put all 7 chakra stones in there, okay? Because you want to just constantly keep this resonant energy around you. Like Baba Kwame said, it's actually already inside of you, but when you touch or even come near crystals, you're actually activating your internal solar being. You're galactivating yourself by keeping these things on you. I also wanted to go back on something that Baba Kwame said too about the gold. You have monatomic gold now where you can actually drink it. I also recommend colloidal silver in your nutritional plan. Okay, just look that up, COLLO, colloidal, DIAL, colloidal silver. You have monatomic gold. Not just for wearing anymore, people. It's for drinking as well. Okay, this is a #1 strengthener of your immune system, and it activates, like I said, that internal mechanism, that internal healing, because a lot of times when you are distressed, not when you're stressed, when you are distressed, remember family, stress is the normal, not even angst, but the normal energy that we use to build, create, and live our lives. When you're distressed, you need to get in contact with Mineral Deposit, because we got you. We got your moringa seeds. We have your moringa powder and formula. We've got your clays for your cleansing. We also are looking to add to our line blue-green algae. We did last year, we did like a tremendous, like about a 6-month therapeutic rinse of our bodies with the blue-green algae coming out of Lake Clementa.
Yes.
Can you share, Tawhiyda, what were some of your experiences when we went through that blue-green algae cleanse?
Oh, that was beautiful. Blue and green is what is to be. It's like the same color, but it has a high vibration to it. I wanted to talk about lapis lazuli too. You can see that lapis lazuli is one of the main stones I've seen in Kemet. Lapis lazuli, turquoise, coral, red coral.
Yes, and red coral and that cowrie are also prominent in West Africa too, like a lot of your wedding beads with that. But to her point about the lapis lazuli, it's actually good for the strengthening of your throat chakra.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also too, like I said, don't try this at home yet. Maybe I'll go first on this. But I just recently discovered that once again, this is another one that they say is good for powdering up to use as a nutrient. Now I'm saying proceed with caution, families. We do that. We need some straight, science involved in things with this. But the point I'm saying is that more and more, the more I learn, the more I vibe myself with these crystals and things, I'm learning it ain't just for just wearing anymore. Almost everything is digestible. Almost, not everything.
Yeah. And our ancestors in Kemet used to crush it up and make it into a paint. And they would use it for their artwork or paint their bodies
artwork,
and artwork.
makeup.
Lapis lazuli, so beautiful. Such
absolutely. So what we would like to do at this point is, in the spirit of time, we can open up for like questions and discussion. We just want to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for the time you spent listening. Once again, we are Mineral Deposit. We operate out of the Conyers Mini Mall in Conyers, Georgia, about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta. It's well worth the drive for those of you in the Atlanta metro area. We will post our address. You see our email address up there, but we'll post our address, physical address. If you happen to be an old school letter writer, we'll love to receive some fan mail or orders and requests. But you can also find us at Mineral Deposit at Harmony Links. Type in Mineral Deposit, Harmony Links, and we have our site posted there as well. I am Baba Kenamen, BABA. KENAMEN. You can find me on Facebook at that space and on Instagram at baba.ken.amen. You can find a beautiful Tawhiyda Tupac L on Instagram, and you can find us at Mineral Deposit _ on IG as well. We're here for you, family. We also are asking ahead of time. We'd like to come back to you all sometime in the near future, because we have a mouthful of information we would like to share with you all on eumelanin as well. And we also are working on a treatise that we're just about done with now. We're talking about grandparenting. We're talking about what it means for us to be grandparents, and we're sharing the same type of tips and things that we're showing right now about alchemy and how to use these gemstones. We also want to share our tremendous amount of wealth, love, and understanding when it comes to grandparenting and parenting. And also that's going to be our next chapter, the eumelanin, grandparenting. We're just here to help everyone who wants to change that ordinary life into an inner ordinary life. We got you on the inside out. So Baba Hotep, if you could, we'd like to open up for questions or comments or anything.
We have it right now. It is 6:34. Normally we end at 6:30, but let's go another 20 minutes. I'm going to time. We're going to go another 20 minutes. Thank you. That makes Tony happy. Great. So we're going to go 20 more minutes. Brother Kwame has a short question coming up, and then we'll look for other hands as it opens up for questions. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and I'd like to thank both of them for the balance that they're showing, the male and female energy and what they're doing and working in unison. And that's to be seen. And then we need this in the community. And what I hadn't heard about is earthing. The thing in which we're having to do is earthing and learning how to go back to the earth and use the earth energy and being able to tap into the frequency and, just connecting your soul, taking your shoes off and walking across the earth, going and putting your root chakra and put your spine up against the tree and connect your root with the root chakra of that tree and being able to sit there. And even the part of taking and, I live out here by a lake and I live in the forest. And the thing that I do is I have copper tubes that I put down into the earth and run a copper wire and run it up and through my window and tie it to my bed frame in order to be able to ground. And this is what we're saying, earthing, because earthing is an ancient healing art. Our ancestors used to take and dig holes and then they would lay in it. And even in the part when I was going to South Dakota and we would dig the tree, we'd have to dig at least 6 to 9 feet down into the earth. And when you get that deep into the earth and you're down in there, the earth has a heartbeat that you will be able to hear in the silence of sitting there in that space and being able to do what we're saying about that clay, but being able to put your hands in the earth. And that's why I said an oasis, because we're creating oasis where we can come back and sit around the fire, what we used to do. And I used to live in a place called Florvilla out there right next to Indian Springs. And we would have the whole weekend, because where I lived, when you came off of the main road and came back into the camping area, you had no transmission. You couldn't get no cell phone reception. So you had to come and reconnect back to the earth. And being able to come back and deal in the frequency of earth frequency is 432 hertz. And that is the most powerful natural frequency for the human being to reconnect back to itself. And so being able to camp there and be able to cook around the fire, drum and dance and be up under the stars is our way. And see, the thing they created, urban, which the word tells you what it means. It says urban, you are banned from nature. That's why they take you out of nature and put you in an urban area to disconnect you from Mother Nature, because they asphalt over it, they put concrete down, they cut down the trees and put up buildings to block out the sun. So those are the frequencies that disconnect you. We're disconnected. And so what we have to begin to do is return to the mother. We're people of the land. We're people of the sun. We're not ice people and having to be inside 6 months and shoveling snow and drudging through and covering ourselves over. These are the ways of our predecessors. But the part that we have to do is return, Sankofa, that heart, because that symbol of the heart is returning to the seat of your will. And so that's all. And I appreciate love you both and thank us.
Thank God.
Thanks.
Baba Kwame.
All right.
I had a comment I wanted to make in response to that. Thank you, Baba Kwame.
Right, and happy Earth Day season, Baba Kwame.
Yes, I
love you.
give thanks.
Yeah, that was Thursday.
Would you mind sharing us how many years young you are, Baba?
Well, the human body makes itself every 7 years. I've had 10.
Give
plus,
thanks, Baba.
10 plus. That way, I'll just leave it at that. The body made over every 7 years. I've had 10 makeovers plus.
Give thanks, Baba. I have no words, just only like a strong heart resonant for the amount of wisdom. And family, I know y'all were catching the wisdom that this brother just spews with ease here. Big up yourself, Baba Kwame. We just really love every time you show up.
I thank us, and I see the other elders on here. And the thing that I've learned is, as elders, we're getting ready to become ancestors. That's the next phase. We're getting ready to become ancestors. But we as elders have to stop being generational thieves. I see my sister sitting there with books on her shelf, and the brother's got his pictures behind him on his shelf. What we've got to be able to do is to pass down. What we say in indigenous teaching is really 14 years. We have to know how to go back 7 generations, and we have to prepare for the next 7 generations. I took my great-great-grandson to the headstone of my great-great-grandpa, Pawpaw, who was born in 1874 and died in 1954, and took a picture in front of it. So he is the 7th generation. And we have to begin that legacy. We don't have a history because Tory means a criminal. It's an Irish word for a criminal. His criminality, that's what he's saying. His criminality is what we remember, but we're not. We're a legacy. We as a people are a legacy of what we've done for the civilization to this world. We look at his criminalization because of Tory. Just look up the etymology of the word Tory. T-O-R-Y is what they call Irish criminals. And so what he's doing is he's telling his criminality and what he's done in the world, but we got to know that we gave him the legacy of building civilizations.
You know, Baba, thank you so much for that. I guess with us being Pisces, you know, we come from the same mind. I was actually building on that just much earlier today with a young man I met out at the mini mall named Philip. And our conversation, to make a long story short, we surmised that there's no such thing as history. There's only the moment. And we must adjust our focus to living within the reality of this moment and not get caught up with the words, because with all the things. And then the real part about it is, if you really want to talk about something in the past, you might want to call that her story, because I'm waiting for us to like really unravel the real truth behind the role and place of the divine cosmic womb in this picture and all. And so I've had enough of his story, but man, can we get to some her moments, some her tales, and some her lore and legend, you know, because that's really what's gonna fix this situation. Yeah, so thank you, Baba Kwame.
Can
Baba
I
J.
add one thing, one
Yes,
last
go ahead.
part, because you said that it is very important. If we stay in now, N-O-W, if you turn it around, you've won. And we're winners. And what we have to begin to do is understand how words have power. And the power that you use is from the tongue and the thing in which you emit in that frequency, because once it goes out, the universe has but one thing to do is to bring it right back to you. So we have to be mindful of how we use our words. And see, the woman, and it's very important because every man has a belly button. We all come from a woman. And men don't have birthdays, we have earth days. Women birth children. And so each child that she has a birthday. That child has a earth day. And we have to understand, when a woman, they says, when I was born is when my mother as a girl had the thought of having a child.
Yes, indeed.
I was already in her as an egg, because when a woman conceives, it's 3 generations. Her, the child within her that's growing, that's being downloaded through the umbilical cord with the eggs of the sperm of the being that's getting ready to create the next generation once it comes onto the earth. We have to understand our science and our knowledge of biology. That's why I say 14, 7 generations back, 7 generations forward.
Yeah, everybody go ahead and take a nice deep breath after that one. As Baba M. say, take a woosa. A woosay. Oh my goodness. Give thanks. I hate to do it, but I guess I have to do it. What Brother Kwame also reminded me of that I meant to speak on is when he was speaking about the underlayment and the network of the trees and the plant, there's also another underlayment of there called the mycelium. Okay, and the mycelium is where it's the source for these, mushrooms, and this network too is a huge, vast network. And so there's an awakening taking place, family, where people are imbibing with your DMTs, your ayahuascas, and things like that. And I just wanted to say to some of my distinguished elders here on the panel, let us begin to educate ourselves in that arena right now, because our children are definitely answering to the cosmic call, and they're experimenting with that. And in order that they might have a sojourn as opposed to a bad trip, it is imperative that we gather up our information about that, and for some of us, continue to vibe in that plane. This is a very important some topic or something that I would like to come back and talk with you all about. But I just wanted to say that for me personally, I'm understanding more and more through journeys with the sacred mushroom, as well as other journeys I've been on with DMT and ayahuasca, that this moving from Homo sapien to Homo spiritus, one of the tools that we can use to do that, and I'll talk about this in another time if it becomes available, but I'm looking for us to begin to build armies of galactivated beings that are able to receive light code transmissions. We can gather ourselves not only with weapons, but with amulets, and we can go inside of the dark place, go inside of the world, and begin to fix some of the things that are ailing us on the deep inside. So this is a cosmic group of people. My spirit led me to bring this up, and I want everyone to really begin to bear down and like pull deep within yourself, your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Begin to research all matters concerning spiritual anatomy, all matters concerning up level, all matters concerning shifting, and recognizing that we got what it takes, y'all. Your 5D capability is awakened and aware now. And what this message, I'm just piggybacking, or should I say veggybacking on what Baba was saying about, coming out. We need for all of the elders, all wise minds, all spirit beings, all light code transmission breakers, all channelers. It's time to come forward, y'all. Let's come out of hiding. Everybody else is coming out in this society. Why not us?
All right. I'm going to, what a wonderful a thing that has happened with all the information that was put forth, with love, with concern, with scientific research. We give thanks for our guests today, Baba Ken Amen and Sister Tawhiyda L. And we're glad that Brother Kwame has shared his knowledge as well. This is something I don't usually do, but I'm a Pisces too. My my birthday is next week, so and I know that Ross Ben is a Pisces. I know that from talking to him. Anyway, I share a birthday with Chuck Norris, Linda. It was the person that won on that show. With Simon Cowell. I can't think of it. I can't even think of her name. But I have the same birthday as Jasmine Guy, Chuck Norris, and Osama bin Laden. So when they were looking for him, I knew, yeah, they should get him. Anyway. All right. So give thanks for such a time as this. We have on here. I think at one point we had 36 people here. And we're so thankful for the information. This tape will be ready tomorrow on YouTube, and we'll be able to share it with our guests. Sister Judy has her hand up. Go ahead, Judy.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. Wow, Sister or Mama Tawhiyda, Tupac L, and Baba Ken Amen. That was a powerful presentation. I am just extremely excited. And I'm relatively new as a member of WOSE, and I'm just happy to be able to attract the knowledge and so many more people here that we're making connections. Minister Imhotep and the WOSE family have introduced me to a lot of people, and it's just a blessing that we're all coming together. And I thank all the people who've come out, and just want to say we have so much of this knowledge in Atlanta, and we're definitely ready to share more on from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way over to the African coast and the planet. Thank you so much. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you so much, Judy, and for inviting us on this platform, for finding us worthy to share and connect with our star people, our light beings, and all of our family members. Thank you, Brother Imhotep, for the work that you're doing and the longevity of WOSE and all the members who are on this platform. We are so grateful and honored. It was our pleasure.
Ashe. I would like to make special mention. I see Master J. Rue out there. I see my sister Umel out there, my Victoria, everybody that showed up and showed out. We really appreciate, love y'all for coming and coming together. I always tell people, I always see Brother Starseed out there, Brother Jalen, he's probably the baby of the bunch, y'all. He's just 23, he's just a little seedling out there, star seedling. Sister Ishe, and she chimed in as a Pisces too. Big respect to all the fish out there. Everybody that I don't know, please know that in Lakesh Alameen, I'm another you. I pray that everything that I said was served as nourishment, pleasing in the sight of our ancestors. I really want to thank Baba Kwame Sunhorse. Every time he shows up on the scene, ain't nothing but a cosmic thing, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, y'all, he's one of the rare treasures in Georgia. And I'm looking to, Kwame, I'm asking you, please, open up an invitation for us to come out there to receive some of it. I'll take some, Baba. I'll take as much as you want to give. You have my word on that. I would love to just sit with you in circle. And I'm willing to help to put that sweat lodge back into effect, Baba. I'm saying it here publicly.
Sweat lodge is already built and open. I've had a couple of sweats out here.
Oh, there it is, family.
All right. Well, give thanks. Next week, we're going to be talking about African American holidays. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the future. Remember, Black Knowledge Matters. It's an extension of WOSE community. It's for outreach. It's for inreach. It's for information and overstanding. I use that word too, because Black people have been under the stand for years, and we need to get overstanding and to get clear thought. Give thanks and praise. Glad to see everyone. Thank you for coming. Uncle Job Seneb, life, prosperity, and health. Live on.
Peace and love, Dasi and Lakesh.
We look forward to the next session.
All right.
Peace and love, and we hope you all come back. And as well, Kwame Sunhouse, we've got to get your information.
Yes, we do.
I'm sorry, Starseed, that I didn't get your hand. I apologize, brother. Sorry about that.
Peace and love for everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Same way, brethren. Same way. All right.
Peace and blessings to everyone.
Live love.